Okay, here is Bernie Sanders talking about income and wealth inequality, one of the recurrent themes of his entire career.
This election is about the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that currently exists. The worst it has been in our country since 1928. Hillary Clinton knows that something is fundamentally wrong when the very rich become richer while many others are working longer hours for lower wages. She knows that it is absurd that middle-class Americans are paying an effective tax rate higher than hedge fund millionaires. And that there are corporations in this country that make billions of dollars a year in profit, yet because of the loopholes that their lobbyists created in a given year, they do not pay a nickel in federal taxes. That is wrong. While Hillary Clinton supports making our tax code fairer and more progressive, Donald Trump wants to give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to the very wealthiest people in this country. His reckless economic policies will not only exacerbate income and wealth inequality, they will increase our national debt by trillions of dollars.
There you go. And that's, Bernie talking about inequality and how Hillary Clinton is committed to reducing inequality. And the Clinton campaign has moved so far away from New Dem DLC policies that I have been critical of on this program for the better part of 13 years. Anyhow, here's Bernie talking about Hillary Clinton and student debt.
Hillary Clinton believes that we must substantially lower student debt and that we must make public colleges and universities tuition free for the middle class and working families of this country. This is a major initiative that will revolutionize higher education in this country and improve the lives of so many of our people.
So this is, now again, there's a backstory here, and a really important and interesting one. Bernie had been campaigning on free public college for anybody at all state universities, basically going back to the way California was before Reagan became governor, or the way that New York City College was, before Reagan became president. And in that campaign, he had said, let's just make all public colleges tuition free. I mean, this is back in the 1860s, I think it was 1861. This is what Abraham Lincoln created, right? I mean, Thomas Jefferson created the first college with no tuition, the University of Virginia, and was very proud of it. It's on his tombstone. Abraham Lincoln created 56 land grant colleges across the United States by taking large chunks of federal land that could be used to generate income that could be used to pay for the college itself, so that young people could go to college for free. And that stood for a long, long time until Reaganomics. And so anyhow, Bernie said, let's just make them all tuition free. And Hillary Clinton rebutted that, saying, oh, wait a minute, you want to send Donald Trump's kids to college tuition free? And this is back when we were having the debate between Hillary and Bernie. And then Bernie's response to that was, and this was played out over the campaign, but Bernie's response to that was, I doubt that Donald Trump's kids are going to apply to the University of Michigan. They're going to be going to, not to a public university, but to Harvard or Yale or Columbia or something like that. And so it won't matter. And so the it won't matter part is really the point of agreement that the two of them came to, these two candidates. So I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but my recollection is that if your family makes under $125,000 a year, you will be able to go to college at a public university or community college, whatever you can get into and whatever your grades qualify you for. You can do that with no tuition payment whatsoever. And the tuition only kicks in for families who are, basically above the middle class, making more than $125,000 or $150,000 a year. And so, which is basically what both of them have been saying all along. But they seemed to be talking in different directions. The Bernie people were saying, oh, Hillary doesn't support free college tuition. The Hillary people were saying, well, Bernie's program would let Donald Trump's kids go to college for free, and it's too broad, it's too all inclusive, and both of them kind of stepped back and said, okay, well, let's look at the goal. What's the goal here? The goal is not to have students graduating from college in debt. Because what we have seen from this last generation, and it's been a generation, it's been a little over 20 years, that Reagan's installation of Bill Bennett in the Department of Education and his destructive tax cuts for the rich and all the Reaganomics finally reached the point where we went from 80% of college tuition being paid for by state and federal governments when Reagan came into office to 20% of college tuition being paid for by state and federal government now, which means, of course, it used to be 20% of tuition is what you paid when you went to college in 1980, and now it's 80% of the cost of college. So where they came together on this was saying, okay, we'll just make it free for everybody who is, $125,000 or below. And that functionally means no one is going to be graduating from college in debt. Because if your family's making more than $125,000, odds are they can afford to pay tuition. And if they're making a lot more than that, they can easily afford to pay tuition. They're making less than that, you go to college for free. This is, A, it's called compromise, but B, it's called getting what both of you want. We'll be back.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.